Welcome back to Cape Crusader Chris. I am Cape Crusader Chris. It has been quite a minute since my last video on this channel that I started up back in December. We are now in June, so it's been half a year. What are the reasons why I haven't been uploading on this channel? One, I have been uploading exclusively on the Chris and Ralph Productions channel that my brother and I do. And second, I don't know. But you know what? I'm motivated to get back on this channel. And what better news than to just start on the big theatrical stuff with the Batman Part 2, with Batman being in the DCU, and just sort of updates on what we expect to see going forward for these films. Heads up, spoiler alert, there really is no massive updates, nothing different that we've been hearing for the last year or so regarding these projects. But I figured, you know what? Let's just get into it. Let's get back into the world of Gotham. I want to upload regularly on this channel. I want to build this channel because I love Batman. Batman, he is my favorite character across all literature, across all media. And let's just get back into it. All right. So let's not waste any more time. I'll shut up about this and I'll start talking about the Batman. Okay, so part two, of course, as we all know, was delayed to October 2027. The original release date was, I think, like 2025. Then it got delayed to October 2026, and then now it's delayed to October 2027. So, as far as what we know two things. Matt Reeves is still working on the script, and Robert Pattinson is set to return, and that's pretty much all we know. So this is a recent interview that James Gunn did, excuse me, with the Rolling Stone. Of course, right now he's promoting Superman movie, doing a bunch of interviews, all that good stuff. And they dove heavily into Batman. And let's just go ahead and get into this first question that he was asked. Um, so the choice of not putting Robert Pattinson's Batman in the DCU, and it being Matt Reeves' choice, and doesn't mean that we're never going to see Batman in this Robert Pattinson in the DCU. He said it would be a consideration. We'd have to think about it. We'd have to think about it. It is not like we've never discussed it. And then he went on to further say that, where is it? I'll get to this question. I really should clear this up. Is there still a non-zero chance that Matt Reeves' Batman gets sucked into your universe, the DCU? I would never say zero because you just never know, but it's not likely. It's not likely at all. I'll also say Batman Part 2 is not canceled. And then we'll get more into what that means, it not being canceled. Because, of course, Matt Reeves, he's been working on the script for a while. And Batman Part 1, massive success, box office, critical. I think it is the most detective Batman we've ever had. That's very, very potent in that film. Even last night, I listened to my favorite score of all time, and that was the Batman by Michael Giacchino. I think like the Penguin series. I wish I did reviews for that on this channel. I did reviews on our main channel, but I started this channel after that show had wrapped up last year. Um, but there has been so many, and it's not even rumors. It's just people coming up with their own conclusions that they think that the Batman is going to get canceled because of the delays. Am I of that mind of thought? Do I have those same feelings? I would be lying if I'd say no, not 100%. There is a small slither of me, like out of 100% of me, I'd say 1% feels that, you know, at first seeing all these delays that it was going to eventually get canceled because I didn't know what they were going to do in terms of it, going into the DCU. This is what he also had to say about Matt Reeves. It's not canceled. We don't have a script. Matt's slow. Let him take his time. Let him do what he's doing. God, people are mean. Let him this, do his thing, man. So of course, Matt Reeves, the director and writer of Part One, and what is this? Like I said, it's not really any major updates. It's just really reassurance and reclarification that we are going to get this movie. We are going to get Batman Part Two, um, and we just have to be patient. Recently, Colin Farrell said that he hasn't really heard anything or any plans on the season two of the Penguin, even though we've heard different quotes from the showrunners that that's something that they're interested in doing. You know, being interested in doing it, two separate things. I'm just glad that we got season one to begin with. Um, what do I think is the ultimate reason why it keeps getting delayed? It's obvious they just don't have the script yet, and a part of me does feel that they are waiting for Superman to release just to see exactly what they're gonna do going forward with the Batman. I even hate saying this word, but IP, the intellectual property, because to me, Batman's more than IP. He's a way of life. So I really hope that they move up the release date from October 2027 to May 2027. Selfishly speaking, yes, I want this movie to be as clean and polished as possible because they're going to start shooting later this year. Let's say the shoot takes 4 months, so they'll be done early 2026. That'll give them a year and almost a year and a half of post production. I'm not in any visual effects, and I'm not an editor, but I, selfishly speaking, I want the movie sooner, but also I want a great movie. So if it does take October 2027, then okay, we'll have to live with that. Furthermore, of course, they asked him about the DCU Batman, James Gunn, and this is what he had to say. Batman is my biggest issue in all of DC right now, personally. It's not so he's not writing Batman. He's working with the writer of Batman, and he's trying to get it right because he's credibly important to DC. As is Wonder Woman, because they were also talking about Wonder Woman. And the two main priorities are finishing the Wonder Woman and the Batman scripts. I had did a Wonder Woman video on our main channel. I'll link that down below if you want to check that out. I did a couple of fan castings on that one, if you are interested in seeing that at all. But what does this mean for Batman Brave and the Bold? That, of course, he said it before that Andy Muschietti. So it was funny because Andy Muschietti was announced, right, to be the director of the movie, and since that announcement, what, January 2023, it's changed a little bit to where he'll be shown the script first. And what they mean by that, and from my takeaway, is that Andy Muschietti he's not locked in 100%. And it's not even from Andy Muschietti's side. It's more so from James Gunn and DC Studios side on if I think, if they want to move forward with Muschietti as the director, because ultimately it depends on what the script is going to be. It's going to depend on what they're going for, the tone, because say what you want about Flash, I really love the portrayal of Michael Keaton in that movie. Ben Affleck had great scenes, of course, at the beginning of that film. So we see Andy Muschietti handle Batman. Of course, this is all what you're seeing is the Dick Grayson Batman, but that's because that's the art that they use for the Brave and the Bold. Do I think it's going to be Dick Grayson? I don't believe so. I don't know. They've said multiple times it'd be Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne, his son. Um, but I am very much hesitant to, if they do go with Muschietti, what tone they're going to use, because this is what he also had to say about the tone. Um, Batman, there's a need for him in the DCU, and a need that he's not exactly the same as Matt's Batman. Of course, Matt's Batman, as we know well, is very much a moody, more walled off Bruce Wayne. And James Gunn went on to say, but he's not a campy Batman, which is the DCU. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in doing a funny, campy Batman, really. So we're dealing with that. I think I have a way in, and by that way, I think I really know what it's. Yeah, I'm just dealing with the writer to make sure we can make it a reality. So of course, our first look at a DCU Batman was in Creature Commandos, which they've said time and time in that it is he can change. He's a beefy Bruce Wayne in that scene from Future Commandos, but that's not going to be necessarily the end result. They can always change it, or maybe they keep him that way. I do have some fan castings, and I was gonna make a video last night. I was editing it, so look out for later this week for my fan castings for the DCU Batman. But I wanted to do this first because this morning you got this article, and he was really getting into DCU Batman. But the campiness, okay. So there's my biggest concern about having two Batmen at the same time, Matt Reeves and the DCU, is the general audience. If you're watching this, you and we're not going to get them confused because we know very well the difference between canon DCU, Elseworld, Matt Reeves Batman. But with that being said, we're not the everyday Joe who's going to go. Their target audience is the general audience. And my biggest concern is them having two Batmans being necessarily like copies of each other. Obviously, it's Batman, but you don't want to have Robert Pattinson 1 and the Robert Pattinson 2 look alike and have them be the same visual styles, same tone, even the same stories, which, God forbid, I'm sure that's what they're avoiding, or same characters that are being used in terms of villains. But I think ultimately, if you want to separate yourself from the Matt Reeves Batman, is give us the absolute Batman look, mean, lean fighting machine. He is physically the total opposite of what Robert Pattinson is. Robert Pattinson lean, but if you want to have a different type of Batman, I say go with the absolute looking the Batman. Be written by Scott Snyder right now. Great run. Absolutely wonderful. I think I'll be interested in doing reviews in terms of volumes later on this channel. Um, but that's everything that we have so far from this Rolling Stones article. The biggest takeaways is that they're working on a Batman script, of course. I mean, that's not necessarily news, but it's reassurance that they are moving that along. Two, 99.9% that Robert Pattinson is not going to be in the DCU. He's going to be his own separate Pattinson, but as James Gunn said, never say never. And I think the reason why he says that is because nothing is set in stone. The future is not set in stone. They can always have a change of heart. They can receive a script from Matt Reeves, and that changes their mind of like, okay, well, I think this fits into our DC. You never know. So I'm not gonna sit here and 100% confirm on my own intentions or my own thoughts that he's not gonna be in the DCU because we just don't know. And lastly, we got to get this We got to get this Batman Part Two going, Matt. Um, like I said, I listened to the score last night. It's my absolute favorite score of all time. So that's all I have. Those are my thoughts, my opinions on the theatrical Batman. So yeah, guys, that's all. It's my first video in 6 months, so I want to build this channel. I want to further instill myself into the Batman community because he is my favorite character. I've been a fan since 2003 when I was a child. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. All right. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Cape Crusader Chris. I'll catch you next time. Peace.